The stream is going now. Somebody's got the air on, I guess. You got your coat, your jacket.
Select home tab. Select search notifications. New notification: Idaho's blind is lit. Lift. Lift chat.
Some chocolate.
Is it chocolate you said?
Those cordials. I think they're. I don't know. You have to ask her.
Well, you mentioned it. Anytime I ask
I think they're like cherry, chocolate covered cherry.
forget it. Anytime I ask you something, you will say go and ask the person. But if I tell you that, you will get angry.
Okay, honey. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get the live stream working right.
This is all about the live stream now. Everything is up.
Okay. Just doing the best I can.
Anybody sat here?
Okay.
Would you like raffle tickets?
No, thank you.
Okay. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
You're supposed to say?
Yeah.
Very good, very good. All right, I'm gonna see how many I can sell.
Okay.
So I'll move on.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Anything about raffle tickets. Collect all my money.
Okay, here's the $5 for the whatever card, I guess.
Live streaming YouTube studio. Live streaming. Expand menu button. Link graphic YouTube Idaho. Find your navigation reach. List of free stream button on the webcam button on manage button. List ad. List of free items. Pop out dashboard. Channel level settings. But send feedback. List ad. Navigation region. Link. 311 2 0. Hold it. 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 YouTube. Live streaming YouTube. Share button. End screen button. Share button. End screen button. Share button.
Okay, there's the head table.
Order.
All the meetings order. If you're selling, buying, whatever, thank you for the money. So we have to get it. Wrap it up.
Status bar control
Yeah,
center.
you're already late.
Speech off.
Focus on. We need other mic. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. My fault. My fault.
Actually, I think I was sitting where you are now, huh?
I apologize. Somebody just. Now look at here. We are going to have an exciting afternoon. Learning how we can lead, where we can lead, how we can be better leaders, and I don't know anybody in this room, including myself, that can't learn to be a better leader. We are very pleased. I guess before we get into this, I need to make sure there aren't any announcements. I know that Michelle, our chef, was talking to me about special diets and coming in and passing, giving the people that need them the special cards. Has that been done?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
All right. The other thing I would like to caution people on is that if you go outside to have a chat, first of all, if you're going to have a chat with somebody, please go outside to do it, because it's really disruptive in the meetings. And if you go outside of this room, please step away from our actual doors and stuff, because it carries, these walls are kind of thin, and we can hear just about everything. So make sure you do that so that everybody has an opportunity to hear the presenters. This afternoon, we are very pleased to have Donald and Amy Porterfield here as our national representative and his wife, First Lady, and that they are going to help us to become better, stronger leaders so that we can lead courageously, dream big, and we already believe in my people. So let me welcome Donald and Amy Porterfield.
I'm gonna go sit next to Amy, sit for the
Isn't that share a bite? That's a.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you guys about that inside joke in a minute. But
Like a romance.
there are some ground rules to this afternoon. First and foremost, and Dana has eloquently asked you, is that please keep your conversations outside the scope of what we're doing to a minimum. Some of us are deaf and hard of hearing, and I am such an individual. So too much background chatter that I couldn't hear was actually being said to me. I'm profoundly deaf in my right ear. Now, other ground rules. When you want to be heard, when you want the floor, please say your name. And we will recognize you so that we can move forward with this afternoon. I think this afternoon will be interesting,
End
to
screen
say the
button.
least.
Share button.
One thing I will correct is that I'm not here just to teach you how to be better leaders. That's not what I do. I'm here to explore how we all become better leaders, because it's really about us as a collective working, with a unified purpose. So I don't consider myself an expert. I consider everybody else in this room, at that, same level that I'm at. So we're going to learn a lot together. Having said that, well, before I go into what's next, let me see if my wife would like to say anything. And typically, when they give me a mic in Arizona, they have to pry it from my hand. So
I got my own.
yeah, see, somebody sent out an email message.
I'm really excited for what's coming next, so I think you should get ready to.
Okay, welcome to the zombie apocalypse. How many of you are into zombies?
Not me.
Yeah, clap your hands. So I have twin brothers, and surprisingly enough, his name is Ronald. And he, I think, really believes the zombie apocalypse is coming. He won't admit it to me because, well, quite frankly, he knows I'm going to ridicule him for it. But the zombie apocalypse is coming. The only people in this entire world that know it's coming are in this room right now. You're the only ones that know it, and you actually know when it's coming. It's coming in 72 hours and 3 days. So, if you are sitting at a table that has less than 3 people, you need to join another table.
No, thank you.
We are
If
just,
you're,
we are
if you
just
have
two
three
here.
or more,
Yeah.
you're cool. You're
You
fine.
can join another table if you want. I'm staying here.
And I figured that would be easier than how we normally do it. We have you guys all count out 1 through 5 or 1 through 7, and then I make you go find the 1s or the 2s. I'm gonna let you sit at your tables. Generally, I would want to split you away from your friends, because a lot of times we have that sort of group think mentality when we hang out with people long enough. But I'm gonna let you stay with your friends today. So, what are you gonna do about the zombie apocalypse? You have to come up with what 3 items you are going to bring for the zombie apocalypse. And those of you who are Harry Potter fans, you cannot bring a magic wand. Let's keep it real. Things that are in this world are what you can bring. So,
Do we each get 3 things?
no.
Oh.
You get 3 as a team. Hey, a little more density, that's it.
I'll take a new F-47 though.
If we elect to take something that has accompanying items, for example, a barbecue grill, does that include the propane? Or would that count as 2 different items?
Very good question.
Like a slate, start some braille paper.
Regardless, but no slate.
So my question would be, 1, why do you need propane when you're gonna have all that free firewood out there?
You never know.
Yeah, so,
You didn't set the scene, we could be in the
So-
desert.
We need 3 things to do what? What are we trying to do? What's our goal?
Save the
to save yourself,
Myself? What do I do?
there's a zombie apocalypse coming, folks. They eat human flesh. What are you going to bring along to this zombie apocalypse? So, listen up.
There's a whole bunch of people with questions, but no one's calling their name.
Okay, I'm gonna answer TJ's question real quick. You can bring a grill and a propane. So, Emily,
Okay, my question is, do electricity or any of these work? Or not?
Does electricity work?
Or cell phones or anything?
so, let me answer that. If there aren't people to run the power grid, how are you going to have the power?
Might work for a while.
Yeah, you might have it for a short term, but how, you want to survive and, as long as you can.
Other questions?
Any other questions? Sounds like people are already discussing.
Mia has a question.
Does a bag to carry the stuff out?
Okay.
One more time, Mia, we can't hear Mia's question.
Yeah, we need to let everybody else be quiet so we can hear.
Mia, go ahead.
Does a bag to carry the stuff count as an item?
Well,
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that a bag to carry this stuff is gonna count.
Any other questions before you get started?
Angie Bradley,
Angie,
if we want to do a bow and arrows or a shotgun and ammunition,
I'll let you bring a bow and arrow.
does that count as 1 item?
yes,
or-
these two go together. Okay, cool.
Things that naturally go together.
Y'all ready? Oh,
Yes, yes.
So what's the point? That's my question.
Dana has asked you.
Dana asked, you have to physically be able to carry the items you bring. And I'm gonna say, no, you don't, but if you can't carry it, how's it gonna get there? So that's a strategic thought process that you'll have to go through.
Donald, it's Liz.
Yes. You said Liz?
I'm gonna go teacher on you. If you are talking, you cannot hear Liz. And she may ask the question that saves your life.
Well, actually, what I'm doing is that the back third of the room was not here when Donald gave the original instructions.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I'm
So
gonna speed talk it, so everybody listen up. It's welcome to the zombie apocalypse. There is a zombie apocalypse coming. It's coming in 72 hours. The only people that know it's coming are the people in this room. And you and whoever else you're sitting with at a table are basically a survivor group. And you're allowed to bring 3 things along into the zombie apocalypse. And that's not 3 per person, that's 3 for your group. What are those items going to be?
And there was if you're gonna have a conversation, please have it out in the hallway.
So, did I hear somebody start saying, like, there's no question?
Is there a question? Call your name.
I also laid out some ground rules about, calling your name if you want to be heard so we can recognize you and the whole group can know who's talking. So if there's no other questions, we're gonna get started here. At the end, you're gonna have to tell me why you chose what you chose. You have 10 minutes. Starting now. Yeah, I would suggest you go out there.
Sweetheart, we won't have to worry about it. We'll be raptured up when that happens. We'll let Jesus win the battle for us when he's ready.
End screen. Share button.
No, this is George Floyd's starting to get a little late. So, I don't know what's going on. Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys should do it.
Well, where are we?
You just grab a table, and we can do it on your table, and choose some great things to read.
This is
Let's be 3 or 4 more, so that's good.
Is the table here?
Yeah, it's a streaming table.
Remember, you have to delay your decisions. Hello. How's your survival planning going? You guys got your answers?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you close?
Hope so.
Okay. Just remember, you're going to have to give a brief explanation as to why and how you came to those choices.
Love you, babe.
Which one is that one? When I was talking with you, you were showing me off. Now you are
I didn't
coming.
hear
That
you.
is it.
I didn't hear you. What did you
You
say?
heard me. You heard me. You told me you were busy. You are doing your this thing.
Well, that was a long
Each
time
I
ago.
tried to ask, that is it now. The time I wanted to talk, you are not ready. Now you two want to talk, I'm not ready.
All right, honey. Sorry.
Share screen button. Share button. End screen button. Share button.
Speech off reality. 1 hour ago. 5. FaceTime search. Access search. Page 2 of 6. Google. YouTube. YouTube. Cast. Button. Search. Button. Sound. Cast. Notifications. Proxy icon. Notification. New notification affiliate marketing. New notification. White House uploaded to new Idaho's blind is lit. Lip to job position. Lip chat. Heading. Click. Button. Chat filter. Close. Talk messages. Close. Button. Talk messages. 2. Messages. Open reactions menu. 2. Reactions menu. 2. Reactions. Talk messages. Talk messages. 2. Talk messages. 2. Talk messages. Close. Track position. Selected. Expand finish. Lip chat. Chat filter. Close. Button. Lip 2020. Idaho's options. Like this video. Dislike this video. Share this button. Create. Dismiss. Create post. Dismiss. 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 Create post. Dismiss. Dismiss. Create. Copy. Copy link. Notification. Copy. Notification. Copy. Report. Button. Action menu. Go to channel. The Linen Casual tweet that changed. Notification. Gmail. Now. Over. The Linen Casual. Home. Picture in picture display. Video. Picture in picture display. Access. Access. Video. Video. App switcher. YouTube. Active. YouTube. Search. Page 1 of page 2. Watch. Compass. Contacts. Company. Find. Short. Trend. Walk. Tip. Chrome. Utility. Gas. Google. Kiffy. Amazon. Great Clip. YouTube. Google Map. Fake calculator. Pop. Files.
Hey Siri, open Facebook.
Fake. Profile picture. Button. Michael Taggart. Facebook menu. Kevin Purney. See your all top shortcuts. Top short friends. But professional tab groups. Button. Search group name. Create a group. Snake River Valley Chat National Federation. Back. Button. Right. National. Create feeling / cancel. Button. Select. Write something. Write something. Add group. Text field. Create. Add groups. Post in text field. Photo / text field. Create a background headings. Containers. Speaking with words. Character. Adjust value headings. Containers. Create a public Gen AI display. Add groups. Create a public background option. Create a public post. Ellipsis. Empty line. Display words. Edit. Paste. Thumbnail pre post. Button. Post back. Button. Your post has been public. Most relevant. Sort page 2. Colleen Fields Felton McFadden. Admin. 4 days ago. Public group. 2 llamas and me in Peru. Photo. 2 llamas and me resting in Peru. Colleen Fields Felton McFadden. Admin. 4 days ago. Public group. 2 llamas and me in Peru. Photo. 2 llamas and page 1 of 7. Create feelings. Kevin Purney. Admin. Top contributor. Public group. https://www.youtube.com/lib/-ndujh2hwz $y0qy0pq0chf _ live 2025 NFB Idaho 3/video 9+ new app switcher closing FaceTime speech off.
Okay, so yeah, I just need names when you're calling out. So, do you have somebody that's going to talk about your 3 items? Who's going to do it?
We're working on Emily, Mona, and Taylor's table right now. Remember, if you're talking, you cannot hear what's happening, which could then become frustrating. Thank you.
So this is working.
What's your number?
Yeah, the power switch needs to be turned on if you have the mic.
Oh, you're working now.
Yeah, think about it. I showed Olivia.
Olivia, too long for her shoes.
There we go.
Now it sort of works.
I forgot my tummy medicine.
Okay, so now that you guys know what to hear that glorious sound, our 3 items are a accessible tactile braille guide to edible plants that you can actually use, and a water purifier that actually works. We didn't discuss which type, but it's fine. And a Swiss Army knife with lots of tools in it.
And a what?
A Swiss Army knife with lots of tools in it.
That's 4 things, isn't it?
That's 2 things. 3 things.
What was that first item?
Okay. I don't know where I got
I
that.
saw there the same
So
thing, I was like, what's that?
TJ? Okay, so briefly explain why you chose those 3 items.
So the tactile, sorry, not the tactile guide, I don't know what I'm saying. The edible plants guide we chose because we're not going to be very good hunters to provide. And so we're going to use the edible plants guide because there's usually plants around. And if we know what's edible, we can find food. And then we chose the water purifier so we're not drinking like diseased water and like getting really bad diseases. And we chose the multi-tool because it has a ton of uses. You can use it as a weapon if it's really short range. You can use it to cut stuff. What tools are in it? You can use like the pliers to help like tease apart fibers and use stuff. You can use the just all the different tools that are in there for different purposes. And so that's a really handy thing to be like.
Okay, before we move on to the next table, I'm just going to ask one question, and that is, what are you going to do about all those zombies?
We're gonna get stuff from the woods and stuff like sticks and stones. These are pretty assumptions.
Okay.
This is the pacifist table back there.
Yeah.
We were going off the assumption that zombies are pretty spindly, they're just like walking corpses, so they're not like super agile or super strong. Because apparently that's how it's moved. So that's the assumption we were using, and if that is an incorrect assumption, then we can reevaluate.
Okay, and the next table up, give me a name. Who's calling? Huh? Who? Al. You guys have a speaker?
Yes.
Who is it? Okay. Let's get Al the microphone.
Alright, so we decided that our 3 items would be the handy-dandy Costco 72-hour survival kit.
Oh.
It has a whole bunch of stuff in it, like water purification tablets, freeze-dried food, things to start a fire, and so on. And our second item, because we did think about the zombies, and my friend to my left is a zombie movie watcher. He said you have to decapitate them. So our second item is a machete, so there's decapitation. And our third item is a passenger pigeon, so that we may communicate with the other groups who are alive.
What if they didn't bring a passenger?
It's one
Okay.
mission.
Yeah. Okay. I know there's more tables out there. Who else is ready?
TJ.
TJ, and then
David.
and then David.
Okay, TJ, I think TJ got in first.
Yeah, okay. How do I? Okay, so can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, TJ.
Okay, since my team trusts me immensely, we're gonna hire ourselves a medic. We're gonna hire ourselves a professional marksman. And we're gonna hire ourselves a professional forest ranger.
Great choice. What's money going to be worth in the zombie apocalypse? So, David.
Storm's gonna be our spokesperson.
Well, you got to get a microphone.
I have the microphone still. Oh, there we go. I don't anymore.
So, are they supposed to be like, is it supposed to be specifically items? Or is it like skills?
We can't hear you.
3 items.
He's asking, is it supposed to be specific items or can it also be skills?
All of the others.
The word was items.
So, well, let's hear what you have.
Well, first thing I was thinking was an axe, cut wood, and zombies. And then, what was it, David?
survival skills, the ability to have survival skills.
So maybe they have 72 hours to learn them really quick.
Hey, I've seen The Matrix.
Yeah!
It could be lifelong skills you've been learning all.
True.
Boy Scouts.
I like The Matrix way.
An axe.
Axe, survival skills, what else?
And then the last thing I was thinking was fishing pole.
Oh,
He's fishing pole.
Well, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Amelia.
Okay. This table have said nothing.
Okay, so, I don't think it's working.
It is.
It is. Okay,
Batteries are dying.
there we go. So we decided food, water, and shelter. Because we figured that those would be really important, like the food would help get, and water.
End screen button.
would help get
Share
us
button.
sustenance. And the shelter, we decided would be an armored RV, so that we could, we can store our food. Also,
We're having a little trouble hearing Mia. Anyone else?
Amelia.
I'm sorry, Amelia. Go ahead.
Also, so that we can easily move around and move away from the zombies if they get too close.
Yes.
And it's solar powered. And it's also a solar powered RV.
What is it?
It's a solar powered RV.
Solar powered RV.
That's cool.
Yeah, right.
Okay. More good items for the zombie apocalypse. Are there any more tables out there?
Yeah.
Angie, then Natalie.
Okay, so we had a major discussion. We finally decided on machete. Hemp. Hemp.
Yeah,
Because
to
you
make
can make lots of things out of hemp. Make all kinds of things out of hemp. And then seeds, so we can grow stuff. Wherever our base will be. And then, we just had a huge discussion about doing a bunch of stuff, like the Native Americans.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome.
Excellent.
So, little trivia, a lot of people don't know this, but when hemp was outlawed because, it contains THC,
No, it doesn't.
the government actually had a small hemp farm on the plaza in the middle of Washington DC.
Yeah. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I heard that same thing in the US history back in like
Yeah.
1896.
If you're ever wondering why some of our laws seem a little bit off. Okay, so who's next?
Natalie.
Natalie.
Okay, so this is Natalie, and I'm with Team Baddies. I've got Amber, Joe, Dana, and Diamond, and we are on the prowl for some zombies. And we got Dana holding the machete, and she's gonna chop off stuff. And
What?
yeah, she's gonna take care of our zombies,
Yes.
and we're also gonna.
Oh my God.
We're also going to use it to chop up wood, to make shelter. And we're gonna also take flint and steel, so we have fire to cook and also purified water. But we are also going to take a water purifier because we're bougie and we need clean water.
Yeah, we kiss the mice, we're not really good.
Okay, well, need to repeat myself?
Nope.
We got you.
We got it. So, has every table gone?
No.
No?
I have something to say.
Oh, that's right, we have.
What's your name? I have something to say.
Olivia.
Olivia.
Let's go to Costco. You only need a membership to get there.
You can't go in. So the door prize team has Olivia's table.
So we said Costco. I don't know the membership. No, we were talking about, Olivia actually said the armored RV was solar powered. It was so funny that they said that for over there because it's like a copycat canvas. Just kidding. Only copycat, I don't know.
And then, what was the other water, oh, a survival kit, just like these with a water purifier. What was the other one? Oh, yeah, I wanted guns and get ammo with it.
I'm surprised that's the only gun heard on this whole.
And I'm not even a gun owner, nor do I like guns, but I said that. Was
Zombie apocalypse,
Well,
maybe
most
do
most
desperate.
of you guys need them close by
So,
Just use your. Any other tables who didn't go?
Yeah,
Say
Bossa,
your name. What's your name?
Bossa,
I'm sorry.
Bossa,
Oh. Jose, okay.
Bossa.
Go ahead, Jose.
So, we are going to get a microphone. We are going to get a guitar. And we are going to get drums. So we make so much noise.
okay, there is a purpose to the zombie apocalypse game that we just went through. First and foremost, I mean, it was something that caught you off guard, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And it was something that made you think. How many of you voted like a spokesperson or a leader? Clap your hands. And how many, and this is a tough question to answer, but how many of you were a little bit upset when your idea wasn't accepted? Yeah, it's okay. And on the flip side of that, how many of you were absolutely ecstatic that yours was one of the three?
Clap your hands, be real. But I'm hearing a lot of talking, and so if you're not calling your name, you're not going to be recognized. I spent a lot of time.
She's my sergeant at arms, man.
I do a lot of the kids program. So.
Yeah. So when we were asked to talk about leadership in the National Federation of the Blind, and maybe even do a leadership seminar, the first thing I looked at was the leadership seminar that President Riccobono conducts. Previously, they had him, Dr. Martin Maurer conducted. And some of you have been to a leadership seminar here. How many of you have been? Clap your hands. And my wife and I, we both went together as a couple, and it was one of the most intense weekends I've ever had because of how much knowledge was shared with us, the extent to which they drew out our participation, and I knew there was no way we could replicate that in 2 hours. Yeah, no way. But what are we about as a group? We're
diversity.
Well, I'm thinking we're a collective. So when I put you in your tables and had you do this exercise, it was with the goal in mind that as a collective,
I
you
disagree.
reach a consensus about what's important to you. Now, how many of you want to know?
Or a group of individuals with common goal.
Remember, I walked around and I kept telling people, think outside the box, right? Think out, and I heard it from our door prize table up here when they say they want a Costco. Did anybody else think they wanted something like a grocery store they were bringing with them? I didn't set any limitations on what you could bring in terms of whether you could bring property or whether you could meet people. So my number one item, only because I like sleeping with my eyes shut and not having to keep my eye on my wife. My first item, of course, would be my wife.
I'm an item?
You are the item.
Places,
Okay, I think
so, but my number 2 item was a fully stocked, fortified farm. That was my number 1 item because to think outside the box in our lives, in what we do. The challenges and the problems we encounter. If you listen to Neil Lewis, he talks about the ability of blind people, that every day we have to problem solve ourselves through the world because the world doesn't truly see us as part of their world. And they look at it in that sort of a split, their world, our world, but if you go back and you read some of the literature, Dr. Maurer, Dr. Jernigan, they say it's not the blind world or silent world. We belong to the world. The world belongs to us. It's one world. So thinking outside the box is something we do on a daily basis, and that's one of the things this exercise, emphasize.
App switcher has no items.
A lot of different and good ideas, and I've heard some things say, "Oh, I didn't think about that." I mean, I'd love some Costco. That was my farm. My God. But so that's kind of the purpose of the zombie apocalypse, is to bring about that collective thought process. Because it's what we do. It's the essence of who we are. And with that, I want to ask a question. How many of you, I'm not talking into the microphone, my apologies. How many of you are leaders in the movement? Clap your hands. Now, how many of you have been elected into a leadership role? It's about the same number. So if you didn't previously clap your hands, clap your hands. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. Some people are clapping their hands. And I'm asking this question because, where does leadership begin? Where does leadership begin? And then we're going to dig into some.
Angie, I think it's when you make the choice to be a part of something.
Veronica.
It starts with ourselves.
Yeah.
May I request the floor? Simon.
What's your name?
My name's Simon.
Simon.
I'd say your ambition.
Ambition?
Okay.
Emily, can I talk?
Emily.
I think leadership starts when you decide what you want, and then you make what are you gonna do? You lead yourself. So kind of what I said, on forward progression.
Okay. Deanne?
I think we're all leaders, all of us, just in all different ways. And we all have different talents, and when we come together, we can all be a leadership group.
I think I want to give her one of my candy bars. Or I'll buy you one. Because, I mean, to me, that's a great answer. Who else has thoughts or suggestions about where leadership comes from?
This is Cindy.
Cindy.
I think another thing that, where leadership starts with is your confidence. Because obviously we're all leaders, but if you don't have the confidence to speak up and give your ideas, how will you know if it'll work? How will you know if your ideas will go into place if you don't just speak it out and say what you think?
Yeah. I mean, personal story, failure is something that I think we all have to live to learn with, because otherwise we'd be perfect beings. I mean, I lost my first felony jury trial, and it was devastating. There were some things that were done, and I'm going to my supervisor. We need to appeal this. We need to file special action. We need to do all these things. And it's like, is that really the tree you want to hang your hat on. And it really, and it wasn't, but it made me a better lawyer for my next trial, which I won.
He hasn't lost one since, guys.
No, I haven't. But I mean, I do homicide trials and serious physical injury trials, and I've not lost one of those. So failure is something that each and every one of us have to learn to deal with in terms of leadership. Within the Federation, where do you find or what is it, I guess, what is the best place to find where you can be a leader?
Where's the best place to find a place, where you can lead?
Liz, in your own home, it's gotta start with yourself, with self-control, your self-esteem, but then it's gotta reach those immediately around you. Those you love, those you care about day in and day out. Because then it just starts getting a synergy of its own, because you start loving those around you, and that love will grow, and that synergy will grow as well.
Crystal. Passion. TJ. I think it starts a lot in your desires. Sometimes if you have a desire to do something, the only way to do it is for it to get done, or to at least have a shot, is for you to step forward and say, I want to make this happen.
Well, Kevin.
Leslie, and then who?
Kevin.
Kevin, can Leslie be quite air? Leslie.
Hi. I think along with the teaching side, I was thinking kind of similar path, but sometimes it can start with innovation. Sometimes we can recognize a need and maybe think of a solution. Then you can share that solution and kind of let it be the spark that goes forth and just kind of
absolutely experience need, innovation.
Kevin.
Well, leadership begins with the willingness to serve, and effective leadership is the willingness to dedicate your skills, your talents, your energy, and your passions and effort to serve for a common goal or objective. So it begins with service, but you put yourself, you invest yourself into it, but it begins with servitude.
Within yourself.
Boss,
I'll say after you're done.
I think leadership begins with your dreams and aspiration.
How many of you are members of the local chapter?
Not for long.
Once again, I'm not speaking in a microphone, and I love microphones. But what I just said was chapters. You can find great opportunities, because I heard so many good ideas about
End screen button.
begins with yourself,
Share button.
begins in your home, and and all of that translates to how you can help build the National Federation.
It's a great group.
It is. We're going to segue into some philosophy.
We have still mic, we're actually going to take your mic. Oh, got the mic out of his hand. So when we're thinking about the National Federation of the Blind and being a leader, we're leaders in all kinds of ways, within our families, within our relationships, at our workplaces, in our schools, at our places of worship. Leadership in all kinds of ways. And coming from all the different ways that you mentioned, talking about willingness to serve and give back, willingness and seeing need and finding innovation from that. Reaching within yourself and figuring out what your dream is and where your passions are. All of these things are a part of leadership. But the thing that sets us apart, the National Federation apart, is our philosophy. You know, we're really the only ones who say that there should be a philosophy about blindness. If you ask anybody else about philosophy, you know, they don't say, they often say, I don't have a philosophy. But we tend to say, if that's what you feel, then you do. So, what does it actually mean to have a philosophy? In general, what does it mean to have a philosophy? You see your name? Emily. And, Olivia, are you still willing to run the mic? Or do you need a break? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, hold on, Emily.
Raise your hand.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you. Okay, Emily.
I was just gonna say, to have a belief about something, like, it's just,
To have a belief about something. Okay. Anything else that goes into what it means to have a philosophy? Cindy.
You have to really be passionate about it, because if you're not passionate about it, you might as well not have a philosophy.
Okay, so you gotta believe it and you gotta be willing to really live it, yeah? Okay, what else?
Angie,
Angie.
and also part of philosophy and values.
Yeah.
The basic of value and what's important. That take you in the right direction, going to help people who are, like for us, blind people.
Yeah. So your beliefs connect with your values because your values are kind of like, you know, the foundations of what you stand on, yeah. Now, are there any other ways of explaining it? Diamond.
I would say your ideologies, similar
Okay.
to your values, are more or less determined.
Yeah. So we in the National Federation of the Blind have held to our philosophy as our cornerstone of everything that we do. How would you guys describe what it means to have our philosophy? What is our philosophy about blindness? Anyone have ideas?
TJ?
Okay, is there Siobhan in the back?
You know what it should be.
Veronica. Sorry.
I feel it's just the.
Hold on, let's make sure you get the mic, okay? You're soft spoken. We want to hear what you have to say.
Now I forgot what I was gonna say. I did.
Uh-oh, batteries died.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So live the life you wanna live, you know, that's what I believe it is.
So live the life you want to live. That's like our tagline, right? Live the life you want. They wrote a song about it. What does that mean? Cindy?
I always tell people that even though you are blind or visually impaired, you are still a normal human being. You still go to most places where other sighted people go to.
Okay, so Cindy said, even though you're blind, you still are a normal person. You do all the things other people do. Does anyone want to have a different way of saying it?
I would, Diamond.
Go ahead.
More or less inclusivity.
So say more about that.
More or less allowing yourself to participate in more activities or allowing people to take you places because your diagnostics does not define you for your life.
Okay, so being a part of the world.
Yes, more or less.
Did someone else call?
Lynn.
Lynn.
The big thing that I think about that is as I look in my life, I've come across things that, you know, it's like, okay, how can I do this? Am I going to be able to do this?
Mm-hmm.
It's living the life you want to live, but also finding a way to accomplish it also is what I think is really important to go along with it.
Right, I talked earlier about problem solving.
You can do a lot of things like, I'm a member of a group, a very small group called Blind Hunter. And, you know, my buddy and I went out and hunted.
Okay. Yeah, so you're living that part of your life. So there are some key guiding principles that explain our philosophy, and I want to talk through them a little bit with you. And the first one is that it's respectable to be blind. What does that mean? It's respectable to be blind.
Emily?
Was it Emily?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, that it's not like something to laugh at or something to like cringe at, or it's like it's not big, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and it's still blind people still have the ability to be respected and move up forward in society.
Okay, so wait, it's nothing to like feel any kind of way about. You have the the right to be respected as a blind person. Good. What else? Leslie.
I think also kind of like the converse of there is nothing to be ashamed of, and we have the right to be treated with dignity.
Yeah, we don't need to be ashamed. Blind people are not broken-sided people. We say that a lot. What does that mean? Because what happens when we go to the doctor, right? They say that your vision cannot be corrected. You are visually impaired. We'll see you in a year. Don't know what to tell you, right? Basically, is what a lot of times they'll say to you. You know that your eyes don't work the way they should. Hence, we don't work the way we should. So we really reject that, right? We say that being blind does not make you less than a sighted person. So how many people were at the National Convention last year? Eyebrows. So you guys. Did anybody listen or check out the resolutions from last year? Okay. So one of them, and so I'm just going to start putting some foundations in. So one of them is that we made a resolution where we asked both the press and all organizations that serve the blind people in 2 different resolutions to stop using the word visually impaired, to use the word blind or low vision, because visually impaired really focuses on the impaired vision. That we are blind people or we're people who have low vision, and that's respectable, right? It's not broken. It's not less than. It's not impaired. We are blind or we have low vision, and we are respectable people, humans. That's the first principle of our philosophy, right? So just sit with that for a second and think about what that means in your life and how you think about yourself and how you encourage others. And Donald has this down.
I mean, I chaired the resolutions committee, and there was a lot of discussion about these 2 resolutions, but one of the main things that came out of our discussion was that sometimes the worst offenders of the use of that term is ourselves. And so we want to change the world, so the change should begin within. And, the theme dealt a lot with dignity, and, as Amy just said, the respect that not something that we're hoping to earn. I mean, it's something that we absolutely, deserve.
So the next principle is that blindness is just one of our characteristics. What does that mean? All right, and so I'm rephrasing it. And another thing I just want to talk about, like when you read the language about philosophy, some of the literature, it's language that we maybe used, a couple decades ago. Language evolves. And so with new language, we express ourselves in ways that make sense to us now versus maybe then. So that what you might read is blindness is merely a characteristic. But now we kind of say blindness is just one of our characteristics. What does that mean?
Natalie?
Go ahead.
Blindness does not define us.
It does not define us. Okay, go further with that. Someone else, or you.
Mia.
Well, do you want to finish, Natalie?
No, go ahead.
Okay, Mia.
Kind of bouncing off of that, it doesn't define us, yet it's still prevalent. It's something to consider, like with accommodations and stuff, it can make us stronger in that
All right, but so what does that mean? Like, okay, but what is a characteristic?
Emily?
Go ahead.
A characteristic is an attribute of someone, and I was going to say about blindness, I think one of our main characteristics, that like blindness is like, imagine you have a bucket full of random items, like blindness is one of those items, but another item might be like that you love to read. Another item may be that you have.
Yeah. Oh, I like that explanation.
Like whatever it is, but it's just one item. Let's say they're all golf balls and they all have different things written on them. Like it's not that blindness is a gigantic basketball and all the things are golf balls.
That is I love that. That's the first time I've heard that explained that way, and I love it. Thank you. Yeah, so blindness is one of the characteristics of equal size in your bucket. Unless you're gonna make it more, right? Unless you're gonna make it more. So blindness is one of our characteristics. I have curly hair and I'm tall and I can talk pretty loud and I'm a mom. And So, I mean, we all have characteristics, right, that make up all the pieces of who we are, and they're all important, and they're all relevant, right? So, I'm blind and I'm tall. And so, when I go to choose a shower, have you guys ever been in those showers that are lower and you have to bend down, tall people, right? Yeah. Right. Or for people that are not as tall, the cabinets that are really high up and you got to climb up on top of the dishwasher door to get on there. We all have characteristics and we work around them in whatever ways we do, but they're all important. So another thing that you've been hearing about lately, as we dive into this and new ways of thought and new language comes in to kind of expound on our philosophy. Because let me just ask you a question. Would you say that our philosophy is the same as it was in 1940, or has it changed? Changed. Okay, clap your hands if you think it's the same. I've heard some sayings, but only one hand clap. Clap your hands if you think it's the same.
I will.
Clap your hands if you think it's changed. So, President Riccobono, and what you'll hear in any leadership you go to is, our philosophy has not changed since 1940, but our world sure has, right? Yes. And as our world has changed, our language has changed. The things we've had to apply our philosophy to has grown and expanded. That doesn't mean our philosophy is still the same. It's still respectable to be blind. It always has been. Blindness is one of our characteristics. Always has been. But we've been using the word authenticity a lot. And you guys heard President Riccobono's speeches where he talks about authenticity. We've been talking about that a lot. And that has a lot to do with our characteristics, right? We do things in a way that's authentic to us, which is why Donald asked the commissioner if you guys could clap your hands, right? Because it was authentic to us. So breaking that down a little bit, she said, well, I want to be able to count. Well, yeah. But what are you doing? And I don't know if she's still here, I'm not being critical, right? But what are you doing with that, right? Are you writing those numbers down on a piece of paper so you can use them later? Are you trying to gather the percentages of people in the room who fit into those categories? That's kind of what she's doing, right? But we think from a visual perspective a lot of times that you need to see it to know it. But you can hear it to know it and get those percentages in the same way. So what's authentic to us is how we live in our life with a variety of characteristics. If you're a tall person, you're not going to live in a house with a shower that comes to your shoulder. That's just not the way you're going to live for a long time, right? And so we live in a world that allows us to live authentically within our characteristics. The next principle or philosophy is with the proper training and tools and opportunity. We can do the same things that anyone else can do. What does that mean? Cindy? Cindy, you have asked, and Crystal has started to talk a bunch of times. Do you mind if I give it to Crystal?
Yeah, go for it.
And then you, okay. Go ahead, Crystal.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna
Yeah, getting that.
Given the tools and the accessibility, you can do anything anybody else does. We're just smart and capable and free willing to do it, and we have the drive and inspiration to do it.
Yeah, Cindy?
She actually read my mind on that.
Okay, is there anything else to that? Any more in that explanation? TJ?
I think that there's a little bit of a hidden message that says there's more than one way to do things.
Ah, yeah. Given the right training, tools, and opportunity, we can live our lives as successfully as anyone else. But the one thing I haven't heard is about the training. And that is something that we have really valued in the National Federation of the Blind, is training. And not going to a place and having a sighted person tell you, this is how we do it as sighted people, and this is the way we'll help you do it, in a less than perfect way.
83%.
How many people have ever had that experience? This is what we do. Clap your hands if you've had that experience. Because I'm always blind, and I remember growing up all the time saying, well, this is how sighted people do it, but I guess here's is how you're gonna do it. And that would be good enough. Versus being taught by blind people. And by sighted people who have done blindness immersion and truly can live their lives in an authentically blind way if they needed to. Right? Because it's about living that authentic life. So proper training, and us passing that authenticity and those how to live with those characteristics forward to each other, and having the right tools that allow you to use that training. You can have the best computer in the universe. You could have NASA's computer, and maybe NASA's computer works great with JAWS, maybe. Right? But if you haven't had the training on how to use it, it's not super useful to you, right? So with a proper training and tools and opportunities, we can do anything anyone else can do. And really what it says is, the average job, the average person can do the average job, right, with the average amount of success. So what that really means is, like, we have people in this room who think like engineers. And we have people in this room that think like farmers, and like medical people, nurses, and like teachers, and like moms. And so all of these characteristics build into what we do. And if we have the right tools and the right training to use those tools, and then we work together in a collective group to build the policies and laws that we need to have the same opportunities with those tools and training, we can perform as well as anyone else using all our characteristics.
4:13 p.m. and 12 seconds.
That's a huge thing to add to this list, right? And so those are just kind of some of the basic principles of our philosophy. We also talk a lot about giving back and blending into the world. And you guys did a great job talking about how it's important to go out there and use that, right? Use those tools, use those characteristics, be a part of the world. And just being a part of the world, there's not very many of us. If you think about how people look around and judge each other and judge themselves on what they want to do, we're watching movies and TV and reading magazines, and, people are choosing what to wear by what they see other people wear and all of that, right? But when you go blind, clap your hands if when you lost your vision, you were the first blind person you ever met. Yeah, that's very common, right? So how do you know? How do you know what life can even be if you don't have those opportunities and you have that connection, right? But once you do have that information, you can be that person for so many other people. And that is why each one of us can be leaders. And if you think about that philosophy and you really work at those things, work at recognizing that it is respectable to be blind. You're not less than the person who can see. That it's one of our characteristics and it's just the same as the other characteristics. Because if you get that training to use those tools, and we work together to keep creating those opportunities, we will go out there and live the lives that we want. And living the lives that we want makes us leaders. And pass it back to Dolph.
Before I really get into anything else, who has questions or comments that they'd like to provide?
Ramona?
Ramona.
I don't want to talk about all the ways to get training and where it's good and where it's bad and so forth, but I have one submission to think about. My opinion is that the best concise dose of training that you can do, no matter who you are and how advanced you are, how long you've been in the Federation, and how much you know, is 1 week every year at the convention, the national convention of the National Federation of the Blind. That's the best training, no matter where you are. It isn't the only thing you should do, but think about it.
And when you think about the theme of President Rick Bono's 2024 banquet speech, dignity, we're all dignitaries. When you show up in a space and there's 2,800 people that are blind or have low vision, and they're doing it, they're making it happen. They're running that convention, they're running the seminars. They've traveled from all over the country, in fact, all over the world, because there's a section in the back of the grand, or the general session for individuals who have come from Europe or Asia and places such as that. So, I mean, thinking about having that respect. I mean, you can't walk away from a national convention without that uplifting feel of respect.
Did you want to talk a little bit about training, Ramona?
Well, I think you can do it just as well as I can.
Well, you know I've got plenty to say, right? But I'm a little, let me talk about in general terms.
Unless you want to break.
You're really going to do the general term?
Yes, I am.
Okay. It turns
I am. So it is my life, and I'm incredibly passionate about it, right? And so there's I kind of talked about it initially when we were talking about training, where you could receive training from people who have lived their lives in a way where they are thinking about how they can modify everything so a blind person can do it. They first think how they do it as a sighted person, and then they think, if I couldn't see it, what would I do, right? And that is how a lot of blindness training, the official, professional development of blindness training really became systemic, right? Some people, and you might have heard it called the vision industrial complex, right? And so that is where, people have come together and they've made a real business out of training blind people. And they have made a business out of it. There is an organization right now, they're going to have a conference in my state in Arizona. They're called Vision Serve Alliance. And they're the large group of people that say they represent all blindness training, that's provided in the rehabilitation. And they're charging like $789 to go to their conference for a few days. So this business is a business. And then you have the folks who have learned from each other through the years. Parents that have been blind people and had blind children and taught them how they do things, or family members, your aunt was blind and they're showing you how they do it, or you lose your vision and you realize someone down the street and they're showing you some things. And there's been a whole history of blind people teaching each other how to do things for longer than the vision industrial complex has been in effect. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Blindness training is a business for us too, blind people too. And because that, makes the world, business does make the world go round here live in a free enterprise, country. That's how it is, right? But you can follow the Vision Industrial Complex, or you can follow the training centers that focus on the lived, authentic experience of blind people. And those are your NFB training centers. So we have Louisiana Center for the Blind, and we have Colorado Center for the Blind. And you have others that follow structure discovery principles, which is another group of people that believed and learned from Dr. Jernigan, who was a past president, two presidents, not really two, but two major presidents ago, right? Who really helped us define that philosophy and really focus on our training. And so there are 7 of us training centers that follow that principle. And my agency that I'm the president of is Savvy Services for the Blind, and we are certified as structure discovery training centers and completely aligned with the NFB. So thinking about where you choose to go as training, you've got to think about it. Do you want to choose to go to a training in a place that has its principles in figuring out how you would do it if you couldn't see? Or do you want to go to a place where they train because they know what it is to live as blind people, and they're going to teach you what it means to live as an authentic blind person? And so, and we're the positive philosophy of blindness that the NFB has really hung our hats on, right? But that's the guiding principle of every single thing that we do. So some training centers may say they do that, but they don't allow you to light the fireplaces. It's like staff has to come do it. Or you could go camping with us like we did last week, and we all went and pitched our tents and cooked over an open fire, and all the teachers who had any vision, they were wearing their shades too, and figured out how to find that bathroom at 3 a.m, right? And all that stuff, using our canes and doing it, right? And coming back stronger than ever before because we did that. So, Ramona, anything you would add to that about training?
No, but I want you to add to it.
Okay.
Back in the 60s, when I first went to NFB conventions, we had 2 people come from Arizona to conventions.
Oh, yeah.
And then that changed a little bit, but describe why and when that increase happened.
Sure, so thank you. So yeah, when we really started to change, well, I went to my first leadership seminar, and I was working at Staffing Services of the Blind, and we were some little, what some people call the happy hole for the blind. When I first started there, I was the only blind person working there, and I would walk into the building, and they had tables of chairs, and blind people would be sitting in there, and people would be giving them coffee, and someone would read them the newspaper over the microphone. And I went to my first convention, and I realized that I was, and I had been promoted and did work for the state and a bunch of things. So when I finally went there, I was working at Savvy again, and I realized that I was contributing in incredible disservice, shameful, I would say almost like abuse of power with training blind people. And I had put myself up on a pretty big pedestal because I was doing things that I was never expecting other people to do. And I spent many years feeling incredible shame. So I made it my mission. I went back and said, we're going to change. We're going to make this change. And the only way to do that is if we really become a part of the National Federation of Blind. So we started really, I started bringing like-minded blind people together to work for us. And we started, being a part of the chapters. And we brought about 20 people to convention the next year. And it was so incredible that next year we brought like 60. And now we bring 120 or more. And our goal is to do our best to beat Maryland. We did beat them one year. We beat them in Vegas. But yeah, so it's a snowball of positivity, and we want to be the change.
How do you fund getting that many people?
And
how many of them are from the center?
Yeah, so we probably bring about, 90 to each year, 80, 90. And it's funded by, we don't have a commission. We're a combined agency, but it's funded by our rehabilitation services. And your commission can very easily fund sending people to convention. I was going to ask that question today, but I didn't. I should have. But yeah, they absolutely can pay to send you to national convention if you're a consumer. And they could easily take people during their summer programs, kids during their summer programs. So Savvy Services of the Blind runs the youth track, where we have like tons of teens from all over the country, and we come together and we do all kinds of things together and get them friends and do all kinds of confidence building exercises and things like, just do it on a team level. And one year we got our teens so revved up about a resolution that the teens spoke and shot it down. So everyone has a voice and everyone has power. And so yeah, you can connect into your advocacy with your commission and say that that's a part of training and get them to recognize it. And one of the best ways to do that is get them to go. Because that's what we did. We got them to come, and we got them to say, please come to one. And they came to one, and they immediately understood the value. And each time we get a new leader, we invite them and get them to come. And that's what we
So I might interject one thing that this group would get. Last year, Beth Cunningham was at the convention. She stayed for every session. She took notes, and she asked, she missed some of the names. Sometimes she asked me to fill in names so she could go talk to agency leaders about some of the things they were doing and why. And, it doesn't happen overnight, but I think we planted great seeds.
That's a great start. Deanne, she also had some of those speakers and some of those agencies talk at our in-service, which was really great.
That's
And then
fantastic.
it was throughout our agency.
So just so you know.
Well, we're kind of talking about those, the experiences at national convention. One of the other things that has helped our membership as well as our participation at the national convention is encouraging our members to get active in, some of the national committees. Anybody and everybody in this room, if you are a dues paid member, you can, reach out to the office of the president, to President Mark Riccoboni, and ask to serve on a committee. Just because you ask doesn't mean you'll be on it, but that is a right that every single member has to be able to serve on, like the resolutions committee or, trying to think of some of the other committees that I'm not on.
Membership.
Yeah, there's a membership.
Community service and, community
And-
service is a great one.
But, we started out this afternoon, talking about, getting involved, where you start as a leader. And there are so many opportunities at the national convention and at the national level that extend way beyond just the borders of Idaho.
Or make committees here. Like, do you guys have committees, like separate from the board?
Some.
That's always a great way to start, or just even go to Dana and say, hey, I'm excited about doing an outreach committee. I would love to co-chair that and get a friend and say, hey, let's start talking about outreach or whatever. But if you go to Dana and you say you have an idea and you're willing to help make it happen, she would love you.
That's great.
This is Cindy.
Cindy.
When I went to Washington seminar last year, I got to meet the National Association of Blind Students, NABS, and for those of you who are seniors in high school, and go to not just to the national convention or Washington seminar, but please make sure to meet them if you do get a chance, because they are amazing. I got to meet Lauren, the president, and she is super sweet. She loves seeing a lot of students join, reach out to her, let her know, ask her, how can I join the NABS?
You guys have all the makings of an incredible student association here. You guys have so many really smart, awesome people that are students. All you need to do is get together and start making it happen. You can start with planning some pizza parties. I mean, it doesn't have to go all, but you can get together and just start thinking what you need, what you want.
There's a student publication or listserv or something, Cindy?
There is a NABS listserv.
There's social media too, go to the Facebook, Instagram, get on those, because that's where you'll get a lot of the back and forths.
Yep.
And that's easy, just a like, and then you'll start getting yourself involved.
Would this be a good time to remind everybody about the contest?
Sure. Great idea.
Okay, this morning we announced, and tomorrow at the banquet we will announce the winner. But we are having a contest. I encourage everybody to enter the contest. You submit, and I'll tell you how in a minute, you submit the answer or the, we figured this is called Growing in the Federation. You submit a plan for what you would like to do during the next year. And this comes from Jamie Ritchie's challenge. Find something that needs doing and do it. You don't have to do it by yourself, but you need to take the lead and plan it. So the contest is to answer, I will find this to do, and this is how I will do it. You submit it either in Braille or in print to me or Yiska, or you can submit it on email to, guess what? The address is ramonayiska@gmail.com. RAMONAYISKA@gmail.com. By tomorrow at noon. hope to see a student division in our group. I will get one. Oh, I hope we get lots.
Okay. Circling back to 2024. It's sort of in our rear view mirror, but it, it's still a guiding light for a lot of us. The banquet speech, about dignity that we as blind people, deserve, deserve dignity just as anybody else in this world does. President Riccobono read a quote from a baseball player. And if you don't know, he's an incredible baseball fan. It's just unfortunate he's a Milwaukee Brewers fan. You can tell him I said that. I tend to text him if our teams are playing.
He supports the Ravens.
Huh?
Well, never mind, that's football. He supports the Orioles, I'm sorry.
The Baltimore Orioles?
As well.
That's not, yeah, I guess he is an Orioles fan, but if the Orioles were playing the Brewers, he'd be sitting on the Brewers side.
Yes.
So.
Who's your team?
So, the most luxurious possession, the richest treasure that anybody has is his personal dignity. And sitting here in this room today, last night's experience, I truly felt like I was among dignitaries. One of the things that my wife and I do is, we talk about our experiences and we talk about what we experience with the members when we're representing such as Down. And we went back to the room and it was like, wow, this is a group that really likes each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not always the case. History has shown that anytime you organize and gather people together, that you're going to have factions within that larger group. But we were standing out there at the Commission for the Blind for a little while, a couple of minutes, and riding the bus. Last night's session, wow, kudos, you guys like each other, and I think you have a very strong federation.
Absolutely.
Okay. As I said at the beginning, I'm not an expert on leadership. I try to live a life that I can be proud of, that my wife and family can be proud of, and I can't teach you everything there is about leadership. In the audience today, we heard, where does it begin? It really begins with you as an individual, and it doesn't have to be an elected position. My first leadership job in the Federation was not an elected position. I was asked to do something. But you don't have to wait to be asked. The game that Ramona is helping orchestrate is a wonderful, incredible tool that we're going to take back to Arizona. And it is a wonderful way to get individuals involved in the movement, because we are a movement of people, and without people, we just simply don't move forward.
So one of my favorite things to do every year is when we have our convention. We've got about 250 people at our convention each year, and it's a lot, right? And so one of my favorite things is I always volunteer to coordinate the volunteers for convention where everyone does something. And my goal is to make sure that every single person that comes, that registers, has something that they're going to do. And everybody knows it. And they start emailing me, like our convention's like at the end of August. I'll start getting getting emails about what they want to do probably, the next couple weeks. Because they're already thinking about what they can do. And maybe, like, this one girl that we have, she's a young girl, and, she's busy, and she has all kinds of things going on, but what she can do and what she loves to do is marshal. She is, she's the one at National, we're like, hey, will you show up at Marshall, because I'm going to be running a little bit late, and she's got that to get onto our section, but they can mention, talk to someone, you're really popular, everybody knows you, will you organize the marshals? I'll let you know, like, when they're going to be and where, but will you, like, make sure they get there, because you're really popular and everyone listens to what you have to say. And, like, that person's always like, yeah, or I get someone who's like, you are so great at reading Braille, and you're learning, and this is really new for you, and you're doing well. Do you want to read door prizes? Or we get the little kids to help us with the auction. Donald will get down in the middle of the table, and he'll go around and give them to little kids. And we have our little Liberty Moon, who is Jordan Moon, our first prize. She's, now she's 5 and in kindergarten. She's also blind, but she would get the mic and go, who wants to give me $50? Or she'll grab it and go, win that one, Daddy. And then her mom will get me to say, you're not winning, Daddy, you need to bid more, But everyone has a role that they're playing, whether they're helping hand out registration and name tags, or they're stuffing, swag bags, or everybody has something. And so when they're done, everyone can leave going, this is how I contributed to this amazing weekend. And it may not seem like a huge deal, people might say, well, oh no, I'm not a leader, right? I just filled the swag bags. They wouldn't have gotten done. And so leadership is so, everyone plays a role, especially in the National Federation of the Blind, where we are a collective movement. We do everything together. We vote in everything together. No one does anything by themselves. So just remember, whatever it is that you want to contribute, or if you're good at finding jobs for people, take that on and help people feel welcome by giving them something they like to do.
I think we're a little bit early, but.
Door prize. Oh!
End stream button. End stream button.
Remember, you guys
Share button.
have about 68, 69 hours before the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to wake up tomorrow and see a Costco in the courtyard.
So we got a $50 and this card thing.
It's like a little coin purse that
Veronica.
I donated, we got $50 inside of it.
Oh.
And it came from, I think Snake River.
That's leadership right there.
Yeah.
Don't forget to buy your raffle tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Deanne Solers.
Yeah, just an auction.
Okay, Andy, you ready? Where'd Andy go? Is Andy here?
Andy's here.
What?
Yeah.
Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, you girls gotta get in there.
I was filling in for you. You weren't here. You weren't here, so I had to fill in. It's your turn.
Girlfriend.
Let's go. Come on, Andy. Come on, Amber. I need y'all's help.
What are we on? Do you have enough auction items?
Yes.
Because I only have my.
I'm gonna make it work.
Let's do. Amber, you want to know?
We still have candies now.
Sorry, Jim. I said you wanted to.
They're really good, I ate 2 of them.
Let's do that
I hear some leaders over there trying to sell popcorn. What are they, $2 a piece?
Yes.
$2 a piece, it's all the cost you.
I just took by the cordial and it's amazing.
We're funding the movement with some young entrepreneurs over there.
Call that shopper if you want.
Oh,
Feels like we
Sorry,
got.
I didn't hear anything. End screen button. Share button.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm gonna put, and then I'm gonna put buttermaker. Yeah.
What?
Your computer, you know, patching it up.
Well, not yet, I guess.
You're not going to sit here again, are you?
Everybody.
Yes. What do we got?
For the board meeting.
Is from,
Streaming the auction there too.
I think Larry got this one, Larry and Vicky. It is the
Cox's honey.
Cox's honey. So it has cream honey in there, there's raw honey. It also has there's also goat milk lotion and a oatmeal and wildflower honey goat milk soap.
That Cox honey is.
25.
30.
30, we're at 30, do I have 35?
35.
35,
40.
40,
45.
45, well, I don't know, come on,
50.
50. We have 50, do I hear 55? 50, 50,
51.
52,
55.
55, we have 55 over here. Do we have 60? Do we have 60?
5.
It's fresh honey. Lotion. 55 is the bid. 60. We have 60. 60, we have 60. We have 65. Ramona, 65. And we are sold at 60. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're gonna do one more. One more, Andy.
Alt F4. Leave site. Changes you made may not be saved. Leave site dialog. Escape. Lift end screen button. Share button. End screen button. Enter. To activate, press enter.
Okay,
Alt
we
F4.
have
Leave site. Changes you made may not be saved. Leave escape end
Visa
button.
gift card.
Enter. End screen button. To activate.